Well, our speaker today, Janet Law, is a global citizen and acts locally to ensure her community commitment reaches far and wide. She recently gave a TEDx talk entitled The Healing Power of Trees and continues to be grounded and rooted in Mother Nature's medicine cabinet and a regular visitor to the forest. She is passionate about complementary healing modalities and the creative arts. She is committed to the transforming power of love and continues to celebrate life fully as a curious adventurer. And our musician, Edith, has, as you've probably heard, a sacred talent for opening hearts with her deeply moving lyrics and enchanting melodies and her divine voice. Her secret? Tapping into the divine and composing songs specifically for our service. So let's relax now and listen to Edith sing before Janet delivers her message. Take it away, Edith.
Thank you. The song you sing is beautiful. The love you bring is beautiful. Your helping hands are beautiful. To understand is beautiful. Your sparkling eyes are beautiful. The tears you cry are beautiful. Shine a light for all the world. A little boy, little girl, every day's more bright and beautiful. Oh, short and tall, we're beautiful. Big and small, we're beautiful. Brown or white, beautiful. In God's sight, we're beautiful. To give and share is beautiful. To show we care is beautiful. Shine a light for all the world. Little boys or little girls, oh, and every day's more bright and beautiful. And we can move mountains in a moment, make the biggest dreams come true, and we can have healing on our planets and peace in all we do. beautiful, safe and warm, so beautiful. Her strength's in you, and that's beautiful. Her courage too is beautiful. To dance and play is beautiful. To lead the way is beautiful. And when just one little girl shines a light for all the world, every day's more bright and beautiful. Shine a light for all the world, little boy, little girl, and every day's more bright and
This is a beautiful time to reflect in meditation. And together we do this in the quietness of our own heart, our own mind. The song you sing is beautiful. The love you bring is beautiful. The helping hand you bring is beautiful. And your understanding is beautiful. We bring our awareness now to the breath, noticing the breath, noticing it going in and out of your nose, or notice in the rising and falling in the middle of your abdomen. We notice these breaths, and we breathe in and we breathe out, and we are ready for the next breath. In this summer season, we are reminded of the tall trees, the summer sun, and the ocean breeze. And we gather in the celebration of this day, the presence of the healing balm of pure love. And deep within yourself, a silent space, a voice. A voice is heard, a loving voice of the divine. And it comes in the silence. Our consciousness is not bound by time or space. We affirm, I am part of a vast, unified wholeness. We set this healing tone now, for God is the healing thought. Focusing on our breath. And if you notice any feelings in the body, notice them and let them go so we can enjoy and develop a mind, the mind of God, that is vast like space. We rest in this mind. It is like a vast sky. connecting with the spacious awareness of consciousness. We are comfortable and at ease, and we go deeper into our divine nature, allowing our bodies to be at rest and our breathing to be natural. In this spacious awareness, the mind is not the body. The body sensations may float and change in the open sky of divine mind, but the breath breathes itself, moving like a breeze, tingling, warm, or cool sensations are floating in this space of awareness. Relaxing deeper and resting in this openness. Resting, trusting. It is your home. It is your true nature. And with this, we understand that God is the healing thought and the healing energy. And we go into the silence with this affirmation. I am infused with the peace and strength of God. I am infused with the peace and strength of God in the silence. The peace of God is like heaven in my soul, infusing every aspect of my life. My reality as a spiritual being. This peace and strength radiates from me now. I feel grace and ease, and I relax completely again as I enter into the silence once more. We trust our spiritual home. It is filled with joyful expectancy. And on this day, in this moment, it is unfolding as glorious splendor. We allow this beauty to infuse our thoughts now as we enter this sacred day of life and love. You are the light in the world. You are the bringer of the light. And in the quietness of this vast God mind, this is an indigenous prayer from the Uti people. Teach me. Earth, teach me stillness as the grasses are stilled with light. Earth, teach me humility as blossoms are humble with beginning. Earth, teach me caring as the mother who secures her young. Earth, teach me courage as the tree which stands alone. Earth, teach me freedom as the eagle which soars in the sky. Earth, teach me regeneration as the seed which rises in the spring and is fruitful in the summer. Earth, teach me to remember kindness as dry fields weep with rain. We come back now into this earthly space, acknowledging that you are the light in the world. And let us all be dedicated to the light that sets souls free to be who they are. Allowing your eyes to open, feeling the presence of the seat that is holding you and the gravity that is keeping you here on planet Earth. We now bring this time of meditation and prayer to a close as we move together with a message for your soul. And here we are, and I'm so pleased to be here to celebrate this day with you in spiritual community. And our topic or our message today is summer lovin' and self-realization. Self-realization. And I'd like to begin with a Gaelic prayer so that it opens the portal of your mind to peace, to understanding, to self-realization. Deep peace of the running waves to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the smiling stars to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the watching shepherds to you. Deep peace of the enlightened peace to you. And yes, we are all spiritual adventurers. You are not just an ordinary person. You are an exceptional, extraordinary child of God, a universal soul with limitless potential. You are the bringer of light. You are learning the truth about yourself right now. And I show this picture because it reminds us all not only of the teachings of the Christ, of the man Jesus, but of all the wisdom teachers that have ever come and that are still to arrive. And I put all of you in this picture. Imelda Shanklin, one of the great unity ministers, had great, great wisdom and understanding, and she was one of the great unity writers of spiritual wisdom. And she asked the question, spiritually, who are you? And this was the answer that she was given. You are a soul that has forgotten its divine identity, a soul wanting to remember in the midst of time and in the confusion of the human experience that you are the living son and daughter of the living God. That is powerful. And none of that is more present than now. It is more present now as we focus on this new season of summer to remind us of this remembrance. There is a word called Kenosis, which literally means the empty oneself, and it's related to understanding. I myself first learned of this term, kenosis, from the great author Cynthia Bourgeault. This word literally means, as I just said, to empty oneself. It is that we both have denials and renunciation, yet there is a distinct pushing away from something else so that you can move towards something more. We have to be willing to let things come and go without grabbing onto them. And so in the human condition, we always get this opportunity to do that. Unity describes very beautifully that spiritual understanding is the quickening of the spirit within. And that it also means that we are recognizing that the spiritual understanding is the ability of the mind to apprehend and to realize the laws of thought and mind. And also, we understand that at this time, during summer solstice, we are reminded of Jesus as he described the chaff burning away in the divine fire within us. And we have always had and always continue to have some form of kenosis that is that distinct fire that takes place as a positive experience, but also comes as a human experience. And therefore, our spiritual identity is so important, and it allows us to express the highest part of ourselves. So burning away what is no longer useful and embracing those thoughts of God, those thoughts of the divine, those expressions. So in the last few weeks, we went through summer solstice, and it has transpired and moved us into this new season. And we understand that we are being called into this full realization. And if we describe realization as the miracles that are describing what is happening when we wake up to, we are there, we are here right now. And realization is about having this awakening. And so this time of summer, following the summer solstice, is a time to reflect on your own personal growth. And the meaning of the season is about light and growth. And so this light is most available right now. In terms of consciousness, it is when we are the most present to ourselves, because we know ourselves to be metaphysically that sun, representing the light, all life and consciousness. The seeds were being prepared They were put in the ground, in the earth, as well in the seeds of your own soul. And so it is a time of renewal and abundance. And so at this time of love and expansion, the summer allows us to unfold just as the leaves are on the trees. It happened on Sunday, June the 20th, in the Northern Hemisphere, but it continues throughout this season. And so creating ceremonies and celebration is a way that humans can acknowledge this life force energy within us. The earth is constantly providing us with all of the incredible bounty and the sun's warmth and providing the light necessary for all living things, Yes. And so this word is derived from soul and sister, meaning sun and standing still. So it is the longest day of the year and the shortest night of the year. And following the solstice, the days get shorter and the nights get longer. So this is celebrated in ancient Egypt, in the Aztecs of Mexico, in the cultures of Asia, in the Chumash Indians of California, and in the indigenous peoples of our land. Western civilization has celebrated this in something called St. John's Day, and also in midsummer in Shakespeare. The Chinese goddess of light also throughout history has been recognized as the light being showered upon the earth. And so fire sometimes is used as symbolically through this summer solstice, but this fire in your own heart, this passion, this burning for expanding the soul. And so we move from those darker days of winter and we're coming back into this cycle, and this cycle is the summer cycle. At one time during our winter cozying up, we wanted to snuggle and cozy up inside. Mentally, it was a time of manifesting, dreaming, and planning. But now that the earth has tilted back toward the sun, our spirits are waking up and we are more inward focused in our days, and we are stretching outward to a new beginning. On these long days of summer, our spirits yearn to be out, to feel alive, to move, and to celebrate. And this is an excellent time to reflect on peak moments of your own life. And after the solstice, the northern hemisphere will begin to tilt away from the sun and start to grow shorter again. And then that means our spirit is ready for the next season. But right now in July, we are shifting inward fully, completely. So let's stand right now and commit ourselves to being in our own spiritual nature, to have the summer loving, to love and grow in our inner life. And so here are some things that might remind you of the light and your own spiritual nature, some things that you can do. One, our ancestors have always done this, and I know many of you continue to do that, but to gather up plants and healing herbs that are most potent in the summer. Some common sacred plants are St. John's wort, vervain, fern, mugwort, but you can find whatever is your fancy. But the idea of being one with nature and gathering up, there is more than enough for all of us. Second thing you can do is to gather in community, to create these circles, these spirals, to exchange songs and stories and poems. And I know that here at Unity in White Rock, that is being created on Monday nights at Bakersview Park, where they're meeting at 6 o'clock. You're meeting at 6 o'clock and having an opportunity to share in a physical distanced way. Another way that you can do it is to find some things in nature and make yourself a a mandala, a symbol of the circle of life and the connectedness for you. Get into a little bit of an art project. And another suggestion is to make a prayer stick, to find something that really moves you, that reminds you of your prayerful connection to the divine. And this is something that you can create yourself, or maybe you already have an object that could be a prayer stick. And so that when you return to that object, it reminds you of the areas of vibrancy and good health and abundance. And some people find a prayer tree. Go out in nature and find that prayer tree. Let's bring light and love in your own creative way as you begin to carry out the moments of your life. You know, there's no Wi-Fi in the forest, but I promise you, you will find a better connection. So go out into nature and enjoy the connectedness to all things. That would be a beautiful thing to do. And Charles and Myrtle Fillmore in the Unity Movement, they realize the importance of the earth that we are born into. And so the elements of nature and how we are affected spiritually by being in the presence of God through nature can both be a dedication to yourself, to do this regularly, and to make clear personal choices to enjoy your oneness in a lush garden, in a backyard, going with friends for a walk. It is what we can do to listen and to have respect for our oneness with all things. So today's the day where the infinite presence is flowing divine energy through you now. The vibrating energy is the dynamic force of God life in you, and you are tapped into this universal intelligence. This deep understanding is the key to self-realization. Intuition and insights begin to unfold as you allow the path of your divine nature inward and also the nature outside of yourself to be fully manifested as your divine birthright. The best time for new beginnings is now. Is now. I had to grow into what I would call a new beginning. Spirituality is God's call to your soul. And a few years ago, I had to grow instantly as I was presented with a very big challenge in my life. And that challenge was cancer and the effects that it has on the human body. I had a trip planned after my first treatment with the beautiful man, Dr. Klimo, oncologist. And 3 days into the trip, he told me that my head may get a little itchy. Doesn't happen with everyone, but your head may get a little itchy, and it did. And in one fell swoop, in 24 hours, I began to lose my hair. In the aloneness in the bathroom with the door locked and in complete privacy, I put the brush through the thick hair that had come out now in clumps in the soft, round brush. Strands and strands and strands, like big pieces of rope, filled the circumference of the bristles. So I put the brush down. I wasn't prepared. I put a hat on and I headed with my husband down to the beach, somewhat in denial and also in acceptance of what might be. My hubby held my hand, and I allowed his gentle nature to flow through me. I had to be brave. And as we arrived at the beach, a number of young women approached us, and in a very beautiful and melodic Spanish, they did their very best to communicate with us. And one of the women held up multicolored beads and more beads, and then pointed to my hair, which was still hung below my hat, at least on one side of my head. And wanting to communicate in her broken English and her staccato verse, she said, "I will braid, I will braid, I will braid." And in one fell swoop, she grabbed the back of my head and in her hand a very large handful of hair. So much so that it began to liberally fall from her small hand. Her friend freaked out, and I freaked out, and the young woman with my hair cried out, "Devil, devil, devil." Well, I certainly was not a devil woman, but I could see why she may have had that impression. My husband did his best to calm the waters by yelling in his voice, "Cancer, cancer, cancer." That word is the same in every language. And she began to weep. In the best English translation she could repeat herself, she said, "Sorry, sorry, sorry," and continued to cry. We all soothed each other in that moment. And all was well in that single moment. We went back to the room and I brushed my hair until it was all gone. The waste paper basket was full. But I knew that my thoughts of lack needed to transform into thoughts of love. And so in that moment, I stared into the mirror with all of me, my body, my spirit, and I had to let go of the illusion that I was more than just the hair on my head, that I was more than complete baldness, that I was more than the cancer, more than I thought I could be. I let go of it all. I was here in this life, present and connected to the divine, not to the illusion of what others wanted to tell me. It was powerful. And I knew that it would always be working for me, as me. And then I took out my shea wig, which was what I named my new hair. And I placed her gently on my head. And I put a hat on and we went to lunch. And when we were at the beach, of course, I didn't have my wig on, but I knew that God was good and that spirituality is God's call and was God's call in my soul. So be open to the universe, my friends. Be open to all of it. Again, what is realization? It is the art of becoming fully awake. It is something that allows us to feel fully absolute wholeness. And one great spiritual wisdom teacher who taught us this was Yogananda. And Yogananda came from the East to North America to bring his wisdom around Christ consciousness, purely, simply Christ consciousness. And the Fillmores, the co-founders of Unity, followed him closely. They knew of his work. And in the early 1900s, they stood as he stood on the stage in Kansas City, Missouri, and listened to his message of wisdom. And I have a friend. Her name was Nicole. And Nicole actually grew up in a family that was a self-realization family, which is what Yogananda called his fellowship, the self-realization fellowship. And she spent her early life with her family, and they grew together. She was strong and smart and curious and inquisitive and funny and loved animals of all kinds. She had cerebral palsy, but it did not stop her sweetness, her love of people, and she loved life, especially in the summer, running as fast as she could as a small child to catapult herself into the water. And although just on Friday we had an opportunity to celebrate her life in a small gathering with her mother and stepmother, and my husband, Brian, we were there for Nicole. You see, her belief in God did not waver. She lived content and happy, but at some point in her life, the direction changed and she was very challenged and had difficulty and took a different path. She was never not connected, but she did struggle. And we may have the illusion that we are just human, but the truth is we are one in the spirit. We are one in the Lord. But sometimes the human condition takes us in that direction and we lose our sense of compass. We lose it for a moment, and the divine link always allows us to remember our oneness that we sometimes temporarily forget. But then we get back on course. And so this year she did get back on course, and she was so excited about some expectations that she had about taking a course. She was getting a new computer. Her 2 cats gave her joy, and she was excited about a trip to Scotland with her dad after COVID. And she came alive with people. Nicole recently had moved into an apartment complex in the spring and had set up a small studio suite with things she loved and mementos of her life that made her happy. But the challenges continued to come. She died a short time after that, and she was found alone of an accidental death. But she had made her transition, and she was not alone. As you can see, God was with her. She was not alone. God is with us all. And the tree of life continues for Nicole in new dimensions. You see, we are all universal souls. Say that with me right now. I am a universal soul. We are all together in eternity. And as we take deep dives into our self-realization, and we energize ourselves with our own personal soul work, we do make a difference. So believe in your strength and understanding of the divine presence of God in your life. Identify weaknesses that allow fear to grow. Commit to strength in your consciousness and allow courage and confidence to grow out of these beliefs. Thoughts of strength replace thoughts of weakness. Thoughts of ability replace thoughts of inability. Thoughts of courage replace thoughts of fear. And so as we come to almost the end of our time here, I would like us together in the quietness of where you are right now, let's say these new thought, constructive beliefs in affirmations, and you can repeat them over and over again, but let's do them together now. I am strong. I am wise. I am capable. I am perfectly able to meet every challenge in my life successfully and joyously. And when you think about yourself in your life, do not limit your thinking of what you are now. Instead, expand your thinking of what you become as you realize and express your own inner powers. Open the window of your mind and catch a new vision for yourself. Your perfect environment is not a place, it's a state of consciousness. A state of consciousness in which you know your inner potential and you are constantly seeking to believe in it. Identify yourself with it and express it. Allow the field of your soul to expand and to become bringers of the light, bringers of the light. Your heart, you are made of love. And during the summer season, where you have an opportunity to expand that, remind yourself of the Gaelic prayer that we started with. Deep peace of the running waves to you, deep peace of the flowing air to you, deep peace of the smiling stars to you, deep peace of the quiet earth to you, deep peace of the watching shepherds to you, deep peace of the enlightened peace to you. So enjoy this beautiful, beautiful day, and may the beauty of this day take your breath away. So beautiful to have spent this time with you. And so it is.
Maybe we are dragonflies, warm sunny days, blue hazy skies, lifted on transparent wings, the winds of change that life can bring in. Open flight, we're letting go to journeys that we don't yet know. Whispered softly, quick goodbyes, yes, maybe we are dragonflies. I know you know that we are more than the pain that knocks on our back doors, leaves us bent with all we face, reveals the beauty of our grace. If only joy could find a way to give us both another day. Ordinary, perfect sign, kissed with love, your hand in mine. I'm sure there is a sweet release that wraps and wreaths us in a peace. Moments when our eyes all fill and tears of love are made to spill, leaving stories on our cheeks in language we are born to speak. I'd live this all again, it's true, for after all, life brought me you. So maybe we are dragonflies, warm sunny days, blue hazy skies, lifted on transparent wings, the winds of change that life can bring. Open flight, we're letting go to journeys that we don't yet know. Whispered softly, quick goodbyes, yes, maybe we are dragonflies. Do we have patience made made of trust. We're more than ashes, and dust to dust. Our bodies wither, pass, and fade. I guess that's how the Spirit's made. So hug and hold and bless it all. The lift and rise in heaven's call. The only thing that I know of, oh honey, we are made of love. So let's just both be dragonflies. Warm sunny days, blue hazy skies, lifted on transparent wings. The winds of change that life can bring, and open flight we're letting go to journeys that we don't yet know. Whispered softly quick goodbyes, yes, maybe we are dragonflies. Whispered softly quick goodbyes, yes, maybe we are dragonflies.
Oh, thank you, Edith. That was amazing. I'm sure I'm a dragonfly. Edith, your songs are heartwarming and delightful, and we're so blessed to have you. Thank you. And Janet, wow, what a lovely message. Enlightening, encouraging, and bang on. So thank you, Janet, for that. We're so grateful that you were able to come today and be part of our spiritual community.